What is your opinion on abortion?
Let's see. I'm pro-choice. I think that people should be able to make up their mind on that, and I think in certain circumstances it's the best choice.
What do you think is the main reason for someone to make a decision on having an abortion?
Meaning, like what would make them decide to have one? I think depending on what age you are and what your financial status is and who can help you raise the child, I think are all factors of it. Yeah.
Why a person under 18 needs a parent's consent on abortion?
I think most of the time it shouldn't be necessary for someone to have a parent's opinion, because depending on what your family situation is, your parents could be abusive or something if they found out, or violent, and I think in those kinds of cases it shouldn't be necessary. Plus, your parents could have a very different decision than you, and as long as you're over 16 or something, I think you should be able to make that choice.
Okay. Do you think a teenage girl would rather choose to have an abortion than decide to give the baby up for adoption after they are born?
I mean, I think it depends on what they want to do with the rest of their life. If it was an accident to have the child and they want to go to college and they want to have a great career or something, then I think they'd probably consider getting an abortion more than someone that doesn't know what they want to do, but they have someone who's willing to raise the child with them and they're willing to spend their life doing that. Then I think maybe they'd keep it.
In your opinion, what is the best choice for a teen to make? Should they keep the baby, have an abortion, or give it up for adoption?
I think it all depends on the case. I mean, I think if a person's okay with getting an abortion and they don't have any money to raise it, and their parents would be really, really mad, like really, really, really mad, and they don't want a child in any way and don't want to go through that, then I think an abortion might be a better choice. If they don't want to raise a child but they're okay with going through all of that and knowing that their peers will know that they're pregnant and have their parents know and have it be obvious and then give the baby out for adoption, then I think if they're against abortions, then that's a good idea. I don't think most of the time it's a good idea when you're that young to keep it, though.
Why is having, in your opinion, an abortion a murder? How is it considered a murder?
Do I have to have my opinion be that? Like support that? Or
just in general.
I mean, I think because it's not formed enough yet, I don't know if it's considered murder yet, but I mean, it's not. There's different ways to look at it. I think that's people's biggest issue with it, but I think it should have to do with what the mother wants. It's not like pro-murder, it's pro-choice. Like, you should be able to have a choice, and it's not like anyone who's pro-choice loves abortions and wants them to happen all the time and loves murdering fetuses, but I mean, there's both sides to it.
Okay. What are your opinions about abortion being so controversial with religion? Do you think it should stop people from having abortions because of a certain religion is against it, or?
I mean, again, that depends on how close they are with their own religion, and I think if it's part of their belief that they shouldn't get one, then they're okay with going through the pregnancy process, then I think then that's fine to keep it and put it up for adoption. But they shouldn't. No one should go against their morals, I don't think.
Okay. This is for the future. How would you personally feel if your child would be pregnant and decide to have an abortion?
Let me think. I probably think it would be for the better. I think I'd have to have a long talk with them about using proper birth control that young. But I think rather than keep it and drop out of school and having to go through all of that, I think an abortion would be a better choice than giving up their whole life.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you think is the most freaking age for a girl to have an abortion?
I mean, I think that's more of a fact than an opinion, but I think it's probably mostly people or either it's people who don't want to have a child because it was an accident for some reason, or someone underage who can't support their child.
Do you think that men have a lot of fault in the girls making the decision of abortion, like not giving them enough support for the girls to make the decision? Do you think if a guy was like, okay, well, we're gonna have a child and I'm gonna be responsible for it, do you think that helps the situation, or do you think
You mean for the man to be willing
to support the child and
like, should that impact their decision?
yeah?
I mean, if the decision to get an abortion, I think, mostly should be left up to the consideration of the woman because she's the one that has to go through that entire process. But I think that factor of knowing that there's someone willing to help you and that wants you to have that child, I think that should be a factor in you deciding if you should get it or not. But I think the woman should ultimately be the one to decide if she gets it or not because she's the one who's ultimately going through it all.
Okay then. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is.